Good afternoon, Patriots. It is Praying Medic, and I am back with another Q update. This is a topical Q update that is provided by my friend on Twitter, Paul Saran. He is Paul underscore Saran on Twitter if you want to follow him. I will leave a link to Paul's original thread in the description box on YouTube. Paul did this thread on Trey Gowdy, and I'm going to run you through this and just give you my thoughts on Trey Gowdy, since so many people have been wondering what the heck is going on with Trey. All right, so Paul starts out kind of an introduction to Trey Gowdy, member of the House, has chaired several committees, former prosecutor, has announced he's not running for re-election this fall, and says he wants to return to a law practice. What is his role in the storm? We are not sure, but we're going to look at some evidence. So Paul begins with this drop from February 1st, and this is regarding the State of the Union message. Q posted, effective yesterday while standing under the Statue of Freedom, POTUS freed those good people who are currently being blackmailed, threatened, and enslaved. Those who stood chanting USA were freed. The shot heard round the world. And then we're going to skip that next line. He continues, we the people, Freedom Day, light, Q. And in the middle of that, there is the insertion of the mysterious TG with a little arrow sign. So TG, we believe, refers to Trey Gowdy. So why is Trey Gowdy inserted in the middle of this statement where Q says that people in Congress were freed from blackmail and threats? Is Trey one of those people? I personally believe he is. Paul goes back to this, and this is one of Q's first posts. It's a long one. I believe it was end of October, early November. Good people were forced into bed with this evil under personal and family threats. Could you live with yourself helping to cover up such evil, despicable acts if you were given a safe way out? Here, Q is referring to the fact that good people were threatened and blackmailed, family threats, if they didn't cooperate with what was going on under the Obama administration. And Q has suggested that some of these people have been given a safe way out. And Paul Saran here is suggesting that may apply to Trey Gowdy. So, there's a lot of discussion about Trey. Some people vouch for him being an honest and true patriot. Other people are concerned that he may be a compromised black hat. And what can we learn about it? And this is going to come down to whether you take things at face value or whether you believe that the president is playing some 4D chess. This is a drop that talks about Trey. This is the most relevant one, actually. Let me see if I can get this a little bit larger so you can at least read a little bit of it. There you go. Trust sessions. This is from January 14th. Trust sessions. TG departure. House Ethics Committee. This is when Trey stepped down from the House Ethics Committee in January. Not to testify. Not needed to testify. Think logically. No need to step down if you needed to testify. Do not chase misinformation. Holy cats, if I could tell people one thing right now concerning I the Spy and Back Channel 17 and everybody else that's out there trying to act like Q, do not chase misinformation. If you're not sure that these people are legit, why are you following them? There's so much misinformation out there right now. Please resist the urge to go after this nonsense. So Q asks, what role might Trey Gowdy be walking into? Who can we trust? Rats everywhere, evil everywhere, traitors everywhere. No such agency is vital. Raw intel is vital. And Q goes on. I suspect that when Q says there are rats everywhere and evil everywhere, who can we trust? Q is saying we trust Trey Gowdy. He's one of the few people that they trust. Now, again, there's the question. If Trey could be trusted, why is he acting like such a knucklehead when it comes to the FBI spying on the Trump campaign? Well, we are going to dig into some of that. Right, so Q asks, what role might Trey be stepping into? or walking into. A lot of us thought he might be, some people thought he might be the new Attorney General. Some people thought he might be the second special counsel. I kind of threw that out there. I've had a lot of suspicions and guesses about what role Trey might be walking into. At this point, I don't really know. Is he going to help Rudy Giuliani in the defense of the president? Doesn't look like it. He's still in Congress, so he can't do that. However, he is chairman of the Congressional Committee on House Reform, and they will be having something to do with the Inspector General report that's coming out. So he's not seeking re-election. And yeah, the big question is, was he compromised? Look, this is the list of it's mostly people in the House of Representatives who are not seeking re-election. There's a couple of senators, Jeff Flake and John McCain. But McCain, I think his seat is good till 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And we've got all these other people, and then at the end here, Q kind of focuses in on Bob Goodlatte and Trey Gowdy, in brackets, important. So Goodlatte is stepping down, and he is chair of the House Judiciary. Gowdy is stepping down, and he is chair of House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. So why did Q mention that these two people are important, and they're singled out from everybody else, who is assumed to be stepping down for reasons because they're compromised? Q puts Gowdy and Goodlatte in a separate category. Paul then brings us to this question, and this was asked about Paul Ryan. When you're no longer seeking another term, you're free to make better decisions. So there's this question: is Trey Gowdy given some freedom to make some better decisions and do things because he's not running for re-election? Maybe. What role might he be walking into? So Paul posted this. It's a picture of House Republicans stating that their investigation showed that there was no collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. And he says, now look at Trey Gowdy. And he says his expression, he believes, shows a lot. He says his arranging of his clothes, his body posture, says it all. He's not on board. He disagrees. He's his own man, and he's not a soldier for this administration. Right? Maybe he's a black hat. All right. So we have all these links here. I'm just going to go through them. Trey Gowdy urges Trump to meet with Mueller. It disagrees about the spying accusation. This is where Gowdy said he didn't believe that the FBI spied on the Trump administration. And then you have this one. I think this is from Breitbart. Trey Gowdy claims Americans want FBI to use informants in political campaigns. And Gowdy didn't even see the documents he claims that exonerate FBI and Spygate. This is from the Federalist. So Trey has been taking a lot of heat from conservatives because it looks like he is backing the FBI, backing Comey, and not backing the president. So what the heck is going on? Here Giuliani criticizes Trey Gowdy, saying he's been drinking the Kool-Aid. So there's all this criticism of Trey. However, what all of that means, if Giuliani and Trump and other people are criticizing or Gowdy, that endears him to Democrats, who have praised Gowdy for defending the FBI against Trump's Spygate accusations. And the mainstream media said Trey Gowdy is an unlikely source of moral fortitude in the GOP. So the mainstream media and the left are now hailing Gowdy as a hero. All right, well, is he really abandoning Trump and the conservatives, or is this just 4D chess? What's going on with Gowdy? Is he a traitor? Is this a game? Are we watching a movie? Is this just scripted? Paul Saran puts this up, and these are it's a series of 3 tweets by the president from a couple days ago. So Gowdy is a traitor. Why is Trump using his comments to make one of his by now well understood theatrical complaints about Sessions? Representative Trey Gowdy, and he's quoting him, "I don't think so. I think what the president is doing is expressing his frustration that Attorney General Sessions should have shared these reasons for recusal before he took the job, not afterward. If I were the president and I picked someone to be the country's chief law enforcement officer, and they told me later, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be able to participate in the most important case in the office, I would be frustrated too. And that's how I read that. Senator Sessions, why didn't you tell me before I picked you? There are a lot of really good lawyers in the country, and he could have picked somebody else. Then Trump adds, and I wish I did. So here the president is quoting Trey Gowdy in one of his, he's complaining about Sessions. Oh, I wish I had a different attorney general. Right. So is this all theater, or is Trey really, a traitor? Paul asks this, as in the case with Robert Mueller and Rod Rosenstein, Trey could be a source of danger to the administration. He's being praised by the opposition, and this bears all the marks of a major deception by Trump. I believe, personally, that this is theater. I believe that the president has one narrative, a public narrative, that is for the benefit of the left and for the benefit of the mainstream media, where he is trying to get them to embrace Sessions and Trey Gowdy for strategic reasons. So I believe that Trey is saying all these things and doing all these things, and it is part of a script. They need the left and the mainstream media to see Trey Gowdy as a hero, because that Inspector General report is about to drop. It could drop this week. It may come out next week. Trey Gowdy, Devin Nunes, Bob Goodlatte, all of the committee members and chairs are going to have quite a bit to say when that Inspector General report drops. And look, it's going to be very critical of the FBI and the DOJ. Trey, at this point, has nothing to gain by beating up the FBI and the Department of Justice. He has nothing to gain by talking smack about Comey or anyone in the FBI, McCabe. He has everything to gain by appearing to be neutral, appearing to be on the side of the FBI. When the Inspector General report drops and the evidence is there and all the documents are there and the findings are there, Trey can then look at all that information and he can then go after the FBI. But for him to do that ahead of time, there's no purpose for it. So I personally believe it's theater. Q has said, look, enjoy the show. This is all for entertainment value, a lot of this. This is not a game, this is serious, but part of what they're doing here is psychological warfare against an opponent. So I wouldn't get too stressed about it. I would pray, I would keep your powder dry, and wait for the Inspector General report to drop. It'll be coming out probably this coming week or the next week. That is all I have for you on this update. Thank you all for your prayers. Thank you for keeping the president in prayer. Thank you for your financial support. We love you. Take care. This is Praying Medic signing off. I will catch you on the next broadcast.